Get ready to meet the youngest and perhaps the most utterly mind-boggling figure to ascend the throne of the Roman Empire. This is the story of how history can become a toy when power merges with the endless imagination of a child. His name is Elagabalus. He ascended the throne at the age of 14. The power given to him was not an imperial responsibility, but like a toy without limits. And he turned all of Rome's wealth, all of its people, into part of his bizarre amusement. In his short 4-year reign, Elagabalus's entertainments turned into the most dangerous and maddest events in Roman history. Ordinary pleasures were not for him. He had the strangest and most lethal ways of having fun. And this began at the palace banquets. Imperial banquets normally meant wine, gold, and splendor. However, sitting at Elagabalus's table was not an honor for guests, but like standing next to a bomb that could explode at any moment. Here we are at one of the most magnificent feasts. Guests are reclining. Wine is flowing. Laughter is rising. Everyone thought they were safe. Right at that moment, with a cold smile and a signal from the emperor, the secret doors of the dining hall were opened, and live lions, leopards, and other predatory animals were released inside. Imagine that moment. Massive predators running among gold platters, wine barrels, and screaming senators. Elagabalus, meanwhile, smiled with pleasure as he watched this pure, organized chaos, this terror that was entirely his own making. Fortunately, the animals were usually drugged beforehand, but the panic and terror experienced at that moment were a real trauma etched into the guests' memories. However, banquets alone were not enough to satisfy this 14-year-old emperor. Elagabalus also turned the people's greatest entertainment, the gladiatorial contests, into his own game of fear. Tens of thousands of people had gathered at the Circus Maximus. Just as the fight was about to begin by order of Elagabalus, hundreds of venomous snakes were released from beneath the arena floor into the crowd. As people screamed and scrambled to escape for their lives, for this 14-year-old emperor, this was the ultimate spectacle. He literally enjoyed playing with people's lives. A psychopath who disregarded the value of life, tasting the poison of power at an early age. And, not surprisingly, the Roman populace's tolerance for this dangerous and mad game was short-lived. At just 18 years old, the Roman army and people put an end to this terror. The emperor's life ended tragically and violently. What remains for us is the story of how unlimited power, when combined with a childish and destructive mind, can leave a terrifying mark on history. Shocking, isn't it?